Hello friends, today is World Ovarian Cancer Day and this cancer happens because of lack of knowledge. Today with us we have Dr. Kamala Kaushal, who is a head gynecology department, Trinity Hospital, Zirakpur. Good morning, ma'am.
Hello, good morning.
So today we want you to educate us on ovarian cancer. What is this about? How does this happen? And what are the factors which causes? And how do we prevent it? We all women want to know about this. Ma'am, please.
Ovarian cancer is not the one of the commonest gynecological cancer, though as compared to the cervical cancer and uterine cancer and breast cancer, is the fourth commonest gynecological cancer, and people are not aware of ovarian cancer. It arises from the ovaries. Ovaries are the two sex organs, gonads in our body, which produce hormones and which produces the eggs, because of which the lady gets periods from the start of period, that is menarche till menopause. And ovarian cancers are two types basically. They are primary ovarian cancers which arise out of the ovaries itself. And then we have around 10 to 20% of ovarian cancers are secondary ovarian cancers. They come deposited from the other organs. The primary organs are from the breast, from thyroid, from gallbladder or intestinal cancers. So these cancers are primarily there in these organs, and secondly through the hematogenous, through the blood spread, it comes and gets deposited in the ovaries, and they may present as ovarian masses, and which are diagnosed as ovarian cancers.
Okay.
So this is very, very important to know that ovarian cancers are two types: primary ovarian cancers which arise out of the ovarian tissue.
Okay.
Alright, so
But doctor,
ovaries.
what are the symptoms? I'm sorry, I'm cutting you. What are the symptoms of ovarian cancer?
Ovarian cancers initially may not have symptoms like cervical cancer or uterine cancer, like irregular bleeding, gynecological symptoms like irregular bleeding or abnormal vaginal discharge. Basically, ovarian cancer presents as a silent, and the symptoms are only diagnosed when the ovarian cancer is in an advanced stage. In early stages of ovarian cancers, the patient may only present with non-specific symptoms in the form of maybe just acidity or indigestion or early satiety or bloating in the abdomen, just history of having constipation, not able to completely evacuate the bladders, or irregular. And sometimes when the ovarian masses are big one, they may have pressure symptoms in the pelvis or frequent urinations. And in advanced stages, the patient may present with loss of appetite, loss of weight, and of course, if there is increased amount of, there's a fluid is formed in the abdomen called ascites, and then there may be advanced distension of the abdomen. So that is the reason it's very difficult to diagnose the ovarian cancers in the early stage. And most of these, around 3/4 of these ovarian cancers that is the reason they are diagnosed in later stages, and they end up in bad prognosis.
Doctor, can ovarian cancer develop after removal of ovaries also?
Very, very rarely, though. Once the ovaries have been removed, ovarian cancer should not develop. But around 1% or maybe less than 1% of cases, they may present as because it's a peritoneal disease. It is considered to be a peritoneal disease. So primary peritoneal carcinoma has been attributed to a because of ovarian malignancy, for which the ovaries have been removed, but later on the patient may present with a small deposits in the peritoneal cavity along with a lot of fluid formation in the abdomen. So it may present even after the removal of ovaries.
Then which age? Dr. Kamala, please tell us which age group is the main target group for this?
Unfortunately, no age group is, you can say specifically. The ovarian cancer have been seen even in young age groups and in advanced age group. Basically, ovaries has got three types of cells: epithelial cells, which are covering the ovaries, and then we have germ cells, and then we have stromal cells. So the cancers arises out of these three cells. The germ cells tumor usually present in the early age group. And the epithelial ovarian cancers, they may present in midlife, and the stromal cells and few epithelial ovarian cancers may even present in postmenopausal age group also.
All right. So do we have some screening tests and also which can prevent this?
Since there are no clinical presentations, pap smear test is not intended to be used for screening of ovarian cancer, because pap smear test does not screen ovarian cancer. It is only applied for cervical cancer, vaginal cancer, and very, very rare for uterine cancer screening. Only tests available are with clinical examination, an ultrasound, a blood test called CA-125, and ultrasound with Doppler. These are the only tests which are available. These are not used as a universal screening. These tests are only used when we have a patients of high risk, like we have family history of ovarian cancer, or family history of breast, ovarian and uterine cancer, or family history of BRCA1, some gene mutations are there in the family, or we have some specific intestinal cancers which are associated with familial. So these females are screened for by these tests, CA-125 and very regular ultrasound examination for pelvis to see for the size of ovaries or if there are any masses present.
Is there any prevention methodology, like if we ladies adopt that to evade this so that it should not happen? Or, I mean, this is understood that this is genetic, but others also may be getting it. But what are the preventions, if ever we follow those, so that we should delay it or we should not get it?
See, exactly why ovarian cancer occur, we do not know. But epithelial ovarian cancers have been seen because of repeated ovulations. Those females who are given prolonged administration of medicines for ovulation-inducing drugs. They have been given ovulation-inducing drugs for 6 months, maybe for a year or more than a year. With repeated ovulation, there's a break in the lining of the capsule of ovary, which may lead to cancer formation. So it has been seen those females who are taking these birth control pills, and we are suppressing ovulations, they are protected from ovarian cancer. Okay. And those females who have undergone hysterectomy, that means removal of the uterus along with removal of ovaries. But in case if you want to leave the ovaries, these days it has been seen if you are removing along with the uterus, we are removing the tubes. These females have got less incidence of ovarian cancer. So maybe these are the only thing, but only protective factors you have to have. You should be aware, and you should get screened at least, if not 6 monthly, yearly to yearly, and whenever you have symptoms, you should go to a gynecologist and get yourself examined and screened.
All right. So do you think it helps them prevent this cancer?
Of course, as with other cancers, it has been seen those females who are more healthier, they adopt healthy lifestyles, they are not eating on junk foods, they have their weight controls, and they eat healthy, do regular exercises. They have got less incidence of ovarian malignancies as compared to a woman who never visited the gynecologist, and they are not adopting healthy lifestyles. Alright, so these females have been seen. It is attributed to even other cancers also. So same is the ovarian cancer.
So thank you so much, Dr. Kamala Kaushal. Today we are educated on ovarian cancer. What is ovarian cancer and how do we prevent it? So as far as I have understood, if ever we adapt a healthy lifestyle, and we just add healthy eating habits and healthy living habits, exercise, so we may evade this cancer, not only this cancer but other cancers also. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish our audience good health and better life. All the best.
Thank you.